when we get into the next few open qualifiers. People have a stream now where they can look back and see what their opponents are doing. You can VOD review, kind of find where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and play to those advantages. That's the best part about having a stream like this.
So Artie, do I count to the right of the screen as well? I mean, it's your right, but I'm just checking.
I'm just looking at the bracket. Hey, listen.
All right. With that being said, though, we have a very good understanding of what we're gonna watch here today. In fact, we already have a lineup for you. So the first one we already have is Frog3, which is our leading team for today versus NTHX Esports. They already have 2 bans out here, with Frog3 going to this Horizon for their first ban, NTHX with Skyway Stadium. So all 3 maps are here: Las Vegas, Seoul, and Monaco.
It's kind of funny because this is like the exact opposite of the overall stats we were just looking at, right? Like this Skyway Stadium and Sis Horizon, 2 of the most picked bans, have been banned by Frog3 and NTHX. So this is kind of funny to see, but hey, Las Vegas has a lot of super cool opportunities for us to figure out these playstyles, especially being limited inside of those really tight corridors. We're going to see a lot of openings for these teams, how they decide to play within their environment, how they decide to use the sandbox. That is what the finals is all about, is taking what's given to you and just making something completely different out of it.
Exactly. I really love how this is going to pan out. I mean, if you were to pick most Battle Royale style FPS shooters, Apex Legends, ability spam here and there. Finals has something a little bit different where it's just my abilities work and they work on everything. Like, building there, that's going down. No, it's not staying up. And of course, with the intricate system of how they are able to collect cash, in a sense, it's like a game show. This is going to change out how you're really playing around. Maybe kills are not really your go-to now, and just being a huge menace and a wall to stall off your enemies is another way you can play around how the cash system works in this game. So, with that being said, though, I'm excited to see how this turns out already. Hit me up.
Absolutely. So one of the main things when it comes to our current 3v3 format is that you're running into that common final game showdown that ends up happening. Let me break it down for you this way. When you're in round 1 and there's 4 teams and there's 2 cash outs, there's a variety of different ways that you can approach the situation. There's a lot of different ways that you can cut up your time, whether it's pushing other team fights, trying to figure out how to time 2 different cash outs so you can get both of them. But when it comes down to 1 team versus 1 team, 1 vault and 2 cash outs to choose from, the way that you have to approach it is always going to be team fight for the vault, team fight to get the vault into the cash out, and then team fight to deny the cash out. Usually, it only ends up being around 3 fights, 4 if the teams are extra proactive. And that is where things can get hard for some teams. You gatekeep the cash out, or you gatekeep the vault from starting into the cash out so that they spawn on the other side of the map. Then you put the cash out in, which only gives them enough time for pretty much 1 or 2 team fights. And we have seen the tables turn a lot on these teams that try to go for that gatekeep play style, but at the same time, it is a measured mechanic for a lot of these players who've put hundreds of hours into this game to kind of know in their blood the timings of when they have to get this kill so that they can go and get the vault started right away.
I think the greatest issue in this game currently is that picks are not going to be the most hot thing you're going to find in such a situation, because teams are just so cluttered, so gathered together. Let's say you run a heavy double medium, like they're standing around, they're going to be walling people off and just trying to be as close as possible to get a free defib, a free heal. So it's going to be hard to get in. So one thing I'm suggesting, again, already, I mean, I talked about this just now, light, medium, heavy. I feel like the light is just so invaluable in situations where you really need someone to engage or initiate a fight here. And so maybe we will see that later on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about Vegas is that light is super viable within those tight corridors. And now we are going to jump into the game. And let's go ahead and see exactly what these teams have for us here. Looking at Frog3 and NTHX. Frog3 starting off strong, running out for that very first vault. And let's see that team fight. They are running double medium heavy setup here.
Very nice pickup here. They already have it started, and so they have first player advantage. Basically, they have to wait for an opportunity to happen. But on the other side, though, they've also got one of their own. And like you said, right, it is one cash out, right? 2 vaults, 1 cash out. So it's gonna be hard to see how this is gonna pan out. But as we see that they're already tracking it down.
Yeah, and as we kind of get this started off, we can see NTHX, they're going for that more measured approach, right? They're letting Frog get away with the vault. They're not wasting their time on the vault team fight, instead trying to set up as best they can. Now, this is interesting. We see that the Heavy has already used the RPG for an opening rather than for a fight. Now, the RPG still does 140 base damage. If you can hit all 3 players with it, that's going to give you an insane advantage to open up the fight. Frog3 has decided that they don't need it for the fight. They're going to use it just to get the cash out in a little bit faster. NTHX, though, they're going to be saving their RPG for the fight. But I'm curious to see this sort of bait and switch style where they Frog3 started the cash out, but then they're just not playing on it. They're going back up to the roof, and this is that dematerializer play that I love to see, right? Some teams are using double healer, some teams are going demat heals. And the first
fight started though. I mean, they're going hard and heavy on this one. They're not allowing it to happen as they're going to push in right now. We do see them jumping over here, grabbing a little bit of few nicks here, almost being very low. Nice shoes coming out here around the corner, and this is it. Push back the shoes, and we're gonna see it happen. Already they've got one down the side. They're gonna push in even more.
Yep, and this is going to be a pretty unfortunate fight for NTHX as Frog3 is going to be able to do a little bit more damage. Look at that. They are going to be able to stick the, they're going to be able to stick in with the actual just weird playstyle, which is throw it in and then run away and pretend like we're fighting it anyway.
I'm really not sure what they're going for here, but for the most part, at least they've got everything set up here. Vault off for the meantime. They're waiting. They have their little fortress set up. I'm really liking this. I mean, if an RPG comes in here, that might be a problem though.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I wouldn't say it's too much of a problem, but at the same time, NTHX, they're not going to have any way to get in without taking this fight, and they did not prioritize the team fight. Like I said, when you get the timing just right, like Frog3 did, there's only enough time for one team fight. That is going to be $10,000 in the bank for Frog3, and that is going to be a good start off for this fight.
And that's the problem right now, because when you're in the advantage, you can just play for, stalling them out. You can purposefully grab it right around the map. I mean, what can they possibly do but to chase you around? If you set up a very nice situation for them to just completely be locked out, hey, that's your game to take.
Yeah, exactly. And now we can sort of see the setup with Frog3 going in towards this vault. They're trying to set up their escape plan, right? We see the zip already placed. We also can see Kynes with the jump pad in hand, also going to be used to just get that vault out of there. But the question is, how is NTHX setting up for them? Are they trying to gatekeep at the cash out, or are they going to be trying to chase them? Now, I do believe that we have that ping up. They have figured out where NTHX come from. And here we go, a nice opening from the top with that DMAT.
Oh, we have our first thing in. I do believe it's Gravity Roulette. This is not looking too good.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a fun challenge for our contestants. However, I think that everyone is pretty much accustomed to that low gravity movement. It's really only going to affect NTHX as they try to drop down to the bottom. But I mean, in an interior fight on Las Vegas, the low gravity isn't going to be that bad.
Oh, they see him. They see him. They could try and start engage here, taking a lot of damage from that one. Oh no! First one down.
There we go. The Lewis gun on the Heavy just does so much damage, and this output is insane from NTHX. This is finally a good opening for them, but will they be able to capitalize on it? Looks like Vasila stays up just long enough, but it does look like Frog3 has gone down. NTHX going to be able to take control over this cash out, and maybe it was a little bit of that help from that low gravity, given the fact that the it looks like Frog3 kind of got stuck on that escalator a little bit.
Just a little bit. I do believe they were throwing out a canister there just to try and see if they can like slow him down, but he just was a little bit too slow, because by the time he threw it down, there was at least one coming in. He knew he made a mistake when he he jumped, he could not turn back. And that kind of cost it.
Yeah, and when you end up losing those situations, the main thing is that you're losing progress towards that next ready engagement. Here we are with Frog3 trying to get started now on this fight, but if they don't get started soon, they might not have enough time to finish the team fight. Remember, the double medium has insane sustainability when it comes to having 2 sets of defibs. There's so much happening on the screen right now, but Emilienne able to get healed up here. Basila as well, going to be able to go back to full HP. They're playing this for the time that they do not have right now. NTHX holding steadfast right now. Lots of damage going through. They are going to lose 1 medium. The defib will come through. Heavy jumping out around the backside, but once again, no actual progress being made to seal the cash out. This is exactly what NTHX wants. Frog3 scrambling to see if they can make it work. NTHX on the top with the D map, but look at this. Frog has made it in a little bit, but no, too much damage going through. NTHX going to be able to wipe the entire team, and that is how you hold a cash out.
That was a beautifully done, executed way to try and retake the situation. They were able to jump over, find some time, and it just kind of hurts them because at that point, it's just very painful to see that they just flipped just a little bit more and dropped the ball there, especially when you have so much damage raining from the skies. I mean, how could you possibly turn this around when you didn't set up your shield, you didn't set up anything to stop them? Very, very painful retake there, and not even worth it. They didn't get it in the end.
Exactly, and so now it comes to this. It is the last cash out. So, if you are in this situation, Nitera, how do you approach the last cash out?
I mean, Artie, I'm not really sure how you could possibly approach it, but I think the first thing you could try and do is even the playing field, because there's so much openings for them, right? Maybe try and break down the building with what they have. Same thing with that the RPG, right? Burst down the building, break it down, strip it apart.
And you see, that is where Frog3 has gone wrong twice now, because the fact that they are not utilizing that RPG for that opening damage, and that is where NTHX finds themselves in a very powerful position. It is a super common strategy in NA, and it looks like that strategy is still being distributed a little bit throughout EU. But let's find out how Frog3 is planning on finishing this fight here. NTHX set up, I believe, inside the corridors here. Frog3 has height, but again, in a map like this, height only means so much if you can't use it.
Right now, looking very spicy and dicey here. Damage coming through from the other side. They have the shoes placed up. They're just waiting for opportunity to go in. Shotgun doesn't find smart. Artie's looking a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, still holding out to the side, but look at this, the chip damage from NTHX. They're able to get a flank out, and Ploppy gonna be going through. There's that chip damage on that side here. They're unready for this. Now NTHX throws the jump, and so does Frog. There's that opening RPG damage, but look at that, NTHX able to sustain just a little bit. So is Frog. Frog has all 3 back up. NTHX only 1 remaining. They're gonna have to go in for that res. It looks like Frog is gonna let him do that. The res will be able to come through as they get the vault into cash out D.
Ooh, looking really good after that fight here. To jump in, giving so much damage from the RPG. So maybe you are right. I was trying to oppose you because I do believe that maybe the RPG into the opening was the strategy here, but I guess I've been proven wrong.
Well, as a former contestant myself, I can no, I'm not Scotty, but I'm just saying it is pretty funny that I've got like the same arc as Scotty, having competed in scrims going into a caster. It is what it is, just the finals, you know. Here's Frog once again going with that same thing of, hey, they start the cash out and then they go all the way around to the outside. But NTHX, they're privy to this. They learned about it the first time, and now Frog3 is kind of in an Uno reverse card moment.
Oh, there it is. They set it up here. Now they're in a good position to try and take this fight as everyone's just scrambling back upwards. They have to find a positioning that really helps them, but already picked up for 1 here. They have to take a fight right now. They're going out. Dematerialize going in, and now they're in a better position, but still a little bit low.
Absolutely. Frog3, though, going to be taking some insane damage as NTHX just has full control over the situation. Ploppy, an absolute aim demon here, going to be finding himself in a 1v1 with a heavy, but that heavy has no HP, and that's going to be another wipe for Frog3. NTHX setting up for a fantastic run here. I don't think that Frog3 has much of a chance here, given the fact that once they respawn, it'll only be enough time for one team fight. And if they go for that stable setup approach like we've been seeing them do, there's absolutely no way they'll be able to get in there, especially not with all this gas.
Oh my lord, this is not fair. You know, they talk about mustard gas, but I mean, come on,
pas vers en avant.
Geneva Convention, more like Geneva.
Oh my goodness. Here's Frog3 trying to go for the ape from up top. And as they drop into the gas, looks like they are going to go for the double shield to try and get the steal going, but the NTHX, they know how to deal with this already.
No.
They're already right on top, and it does go down to a 1v1, but NTHX is going to be successful here. That is going to be a W for NTHX Esports. Absolutely insane start here as they rack up the score just enough with those steals. What was Frog3 thinking with that play of running off the point?
I'm just not too sure what the play was there. It definitely felt like they wanted to reposition for, you know, forcing them to come in and try and do a retake and then surprising them. That at least felt like what they could have tried to me, and already it just didn't fall through with that plan because I think they were just ready for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I can see the idea, right? Of you know, if they're coming from Apex or coming from another game, it's like, oh, we need height. So they're gonna start the cash out and then take a super long rotate to get height and catch them off guard. But they should have known that NTHX, they're gonna just aggress the point. And so the longer you spend away from the cash out, the more chance that NTHX has to just take it for free. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I keep a very heavy watch over my $10,000. And it looks like Frog3, maybe they've got way more money than me. That 10K they just don't care about. But I think they should have cared about this one a little more.
Hey, tell me about it. If I had $10,000 just like that, I would have done the same. But in my bank account, I have 3 digits to my name. And in between one of those digits is a decimal place, just like that.
Like my God. Well, hey, these teams are going to be at least learning from that last match. So Frog3, you know, it's an interesting play style, avant-garde, if you will. I know that our French-speaking contestants are going to look at me and just cringe. But at the same time, that sort of new play style, that avant-garde attempt at trying to get that weird rotation in before the fight, maybe we just take that one out, guys, and play more stable.
Right, I do agree with that. I mean, so far so good. They are stationary, and when they're stationary, they have a good setup, walls ready, they have the clock set up. Everything is fine until you start rotating, and it just feels very awkward because they're just giving up such a strong commanding position, especially when you have all the cash outs usually in a nice little corner tucked away for yourself, where you have entire sites lined down and you can see where they're coming from.
Exactly. And the good thing is that this is a best of 3, and so we have a whole new map waiting for the next one. So I'm really excited. Actually, could we get those maps up again to just jog my memory a little bit about what's coming up next? Because I do
believe
know
Seoul is the last one.
Yeah, Seoul's the last one. I can't quite remember.
Monaco.
Monaco. There we go. Oh no, it is
lies. I am sorry.
It is
Monaco on the line. I'm so sorry. I lied to you. I'm sorry. I'll take my leave here in the corner.
Well, hey, you know, Seoul is good, and here's the interesting thing: is that Frog3 picked Las Vegas and then lost. So maybe it is that strategy they were trying to play. They picked Las Vegas. They wanted to try their new strategy. But you know, NTHX, they just came through. So on this next one with Seoul, maybe because Frog3 is going to be deciding to play this a little bit more stable, that this is going to be, you know, sort of a better performance from them going into the next match.
Right. So with that being said, though, how they can turn this around, I mean, it's still a very open area map, and you know, almost like a skyway stadium, so to speak, just minus the ground floor, right? Because ultimately, you're just high up in the air. There is a chance that a lot of random jumps could lead you to your inevitable demise as a contestant yourself. But I think that the really key thing here is trying to find an opening. And same thing as before here, not a lot of verticality in Seoul. And so the main thing is, how are you going to traverse through the inner workings of the building?
Yeah, so with Soul, there's a lot of different metas that surround each individual cash out. This map in particular has been played so much by so many people in scrims that every single cash out has its own defined playstyle, especially when it comes to the construction variant of Soul on the top and when it comes to the cash out that spawns all the way on the other side of Hospital. And there's so many different ways to approach it. And I love that there are different teams that have developed bridge-centric approaches or green-centric approaches regarding how they actually go into that fight on Hospital. But that is yet to be seen for NTHX and Frog3. I'm very curious if they're going to be avoiding that altogether or if we're going to see some fun runs with the vault.
So, as we wait for a little bit and we get to the games here, I mean, players are already more or less getting ready for it. But what I can definitely tell you for sure is that this lineup that they're going for is working. So, I don't know. Do you feel like there's any changes that needs to be made here?
For Frog3, yeah, I mean, the biggest change is
Other
that
than the rotate,
they
right?
Yeah, they got to just not rotate off the point if they have it. Let me figure out, because chat is saying that they are in the game right now, so I'm curious to see what let's see.
What doing?
Let's see. Oh, I think that they jumped into a game early, and so they're gonna be restarting here. Interesting. No worries. But at the exact same time, let's go ahead and just keep talking about what we saw in the beginning. So Frog3, right? They're playing with the barricades and the dome at the same time. This leaves a little bit of room for error in that particular play style that they're going for, because if you're gonna be playing with the barricade, you got to just anchor down. But we weren't seeing them anchor down. We were seeing them go for that weird rotate. Instead, what I would like to see from them is swap out the barricade, have C4 at the ready, so that at the moment that they start to steal the cash out, you detonate the C4, you drop it down the floor, you get that interrupt. They would have absolutely needed that if they were going for that rotation, because if they wanted to then back out, leave, get height, do whatever they wanted to, when that steal starts, hit the C4, cool, you have 5 more seconds, right? Which that would have been a game changer.
I really like how you're approaching this. I did not think about it like that. In fact, yes, C4 is probably one of my favorite things to go about. I just didn't really realize, yeah, that is one way you can go about it, but obviously it is still an object that can be spotted. They could just see the C4 and realize the situation, back away from it. You need to hide it still. But you are right in saying that if it happens, just click the button. It's fine.
Let me tell you this, though. If they shoot the C4, it still explodes, still drops the cash out down a floor. And here's this as well. They don't have time to just deal with it when you're rushing to steal a cash out. And that's what I love about C4, is that it is such a presence. And back when there used to be 2 C4 at a time, and you had teams set up both of them, or you just set up one, wait for it to recharge, get your second one in, you could theoretically have 2 C4 out and ready to blow up, and then you had 2 in your back pocket waiting. It was so broken, and now it is finally a little bit more balanced. Let's look at the scoreboard. Oh, this is insane.
Yeah. So across the board, holy, are you seeing what I'm seeing? That is 10 kills onto the side of Frog3's Basila on the heavy. And that is insane considering how long that match lasted. A total of 14 kills on the side of Frog3. Onto the other side, NTHX, we have a total of, I'm counting now, 17 kills. With the top fragger being Nolix with 8 kills. And that is quite the number.
Well, what I gotta say though is look at the difference in how these teams approach the game, right? We saw NTHX, they're playing with the dematerializer and the healer, and so that's so Magma was the only healer for NTHX, but they were able to take away the win. This is, in comparison to Frog3, who had 2 healers. We can see that with the support scores over there. But because of their playstyle, trying to pull themselves away from the that cash out, the thing that ended up happening was that they were leaving so much value on the table in terms of utility. You can anchor the site. You have the barricades, you have the shields, you have 2 healers, which means that theoretically your heavy can't die if you position correctly. So the issue is that the Frog3, they've got the right formula and they just plugged in the wrong way to execute it.
Now, I want to also run this idea down by you as well, because I mean, at some point we did see a massive ball of fire come through them as they set out a barricade, and I think that was one of the biggest issues when it comes to any walling strategies, is that what if your entire terrain just kind of gets destroyed, or, well, I guess on fire? So that is something that maybe that got to them, and that's why they decided, okay, what if we just move around a lot, and like, they can't really hurt us, so what if we have barricades, and so on and so forth. Maybe that's part of the reason why they kind of changed strategies there and decided to go this weird rotation strategy. I just don't feel like that was the case, but I will argue as devil's advocate.
Yeah, at the end of the day as well, these teams are going to be able to look at not only their strategies but also their opponents and be able to adapt to them. And so that's what's so important about having it be a best of 3, is now we get to go to a whole new map, and the Frog3 can apply what they've just learned in their last fight against NTHX and go through with a slightly different change of plans going into this next one. I do believe that we are still waiting on some
still waiting. Yeah.
We're still waiting on some games to happen. I think that there is kind of a bug right now with the custom games. So sorry for that one, folks. But don't worry, we are going to be getting you your finals action very soon. In fact, right after this break. Oh, never mind. I was misinformed.
Wait.
Tara, we're going right into this game.
I thought this was the break screen for a short while. I was like, wait a minute, that don't make sense. So yes, absolutely. Okay, so you have one time I lied to you, you lied to me a second time. I see how it is. We're pulling our punches here, right?
There we go. We're finally getting into it. Let's go ahead and see exactly what the approach is. So, Frog3, they haven't changed it up too much. It does look like we're still on that double healer. And next time we see this fight, though, it could be pretty bad for either of these teams. Whoever walks away with this vault fight has a significant advantage, given the fact that Cash Out B is on the hospital.
It's really hot heavy right now as they push in. Damage is flying through here, but there's nothing landing its mark right now. In fact, they're just slowly taking chip damage from the fire here, and they're not able to find anything. The Teresa comes out, and now they're just slowly going to chip this away.
Yeah, unfortunately, NTHX did not retain ownership of that first vault. You can see as Ploppy is trying to use that DMAT to get a little bit of a fast angle. Nolly is going to just use the coin to get back in, but here we see Frog3, they got to it. That is the fabled hospital cash out that we were talking about earlier. Looks like NTHX is going to be able to take the bridge. Frog3 has not yet destroyed the bridge. This is going to be pretty good for NTHX. They can get a quick rotate. The question is, where will their teammate who has just coined in be coming from?
It's gonna be a weird situation. It's just a 2v3 situation. They have it on the ball right now, and everything is set up for them. But can you imagine they just drop in for 3, and then suddenly you're losing 1?
Well, also Frog3 is doing the exact same thing. They're still fighting well away from the point here, and it's not working out for them because they're not able to anchor as easily as they should be able to. Both healers are down. Now the heavy is up and separated way away from the point, and well, looks like NTHX just gonna chow this heavy, get the team wipe, but even if they don't do that, they still have a perfect opportunity to get the steal.
Oh, and here we go, jumping down again. We do see them trying to go for this last one here, and I don't think there's anything else we can say about this. C'est la vie.
Yeah, that's going to be it, and there is more than enough time like that. We do have the seal from NTHX, and again, Frog3, are they allergic to the cash out? They're like, if the cash out is on the roof, sure, fight from the roof, but in what way does fighting on the roof when you're playing double healer help you out? especially when you just put yourself in the most open position. NTHX now going to be setting up here as Frog3 pads over onto green and tries to fight now from the bottom. Frog3, this is probably where you shall fall from the beginning. We see NTHX now up on the top of the game, and well, at the same time, there's kind of no indication of how Frog3 is going to be able to take this fight, because Frog3, now they're stressed about the steal, not about the team fight.
Out, shoes broken, they try and take this one right away. It's a little bit dicey here as they have to shoot up. They also have to cash out there, they need to try and do something about it. Turns around to the man, trying to take the tricks here, but it's not enough to do anything around. Fire spreading out here, and you said it's going in case it's done, and this is it. They've got the first 10,000 in the bag.
Absolutely incredible for NTHX. And Frog3, I am begging you, the next time that you take that vault, you get the vault in, please just stay on the point. Oh my god. Nitera, we literally were talking about this for the last 10 minutes. If they played on the point, it's going to work out for them. And they still didn't.
I think we need to give them a call, you know, because
I think I need to learn French.
I need to, yeah, you know, you're right. They need to change their name from Frog3 to maybe like Stationary Turret 3. They need to actually stay on the point and stop hopping around from place to place. That is kind of the biggest problem we have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the number one thing is that, you know, now NTHX, they're just 1 point away from victory. 1 point away from winning the best of 3. You know, if they're able to just get this cash out right here, there will not be a Monaco map for Frog3 to try and redeem on. The redemption has to happen now. Frog3 is in charge of the vault, but at the same time, they can tell something is afoot. NTHX coming up the stairs here.
Barricades out, shields out, nicely done. We do see one ping taken out right now, and it's looking too good for them. NTHX position and primed for this fight. One down.
Floppy almost able to get through. He demats but can't close the door fast enough. So Frog3, they're in control, but there is still one member left. It's not a team wipe. And remember, we're on quick cash rule set, which means infinite coins, and those respawn timers are a little bit shorter. So that means that we're going to see NTHX back in the fight a little bit earlier. But hey, Frog3, they're finally on cash out C. They have a vault. All they have to do is play on the objective. Nitera, all they have to do is not leave this cash out.
Look, they're not allergic to cash out. They're allergic to the money in the cash out. You must understand. It's part of their job to deliver it. Doesn't mean they need it. Money is the root of all evil here, and they see it. Now, so what is the other evil they see though? The 3 players on the other side, NTHX, and they're trying to make a headway against them.
I mean, alright, at least for this point, it's going to work out for them, because this point is one point that actually does not have anywhere for them to run away from. If they go up, they're still on the point. So I think this is really good for them, because now they can finally have the sustain. The question is, how is NTHX going to make the approach? Remember, they do have the demat. All they have to do is go right underneath Frog3 and demat them off their own platform. Also, a well-placed RPG could be the end of this. One barricade might not be enough, because remember, the floor can be removed. So
wait, they might be jumping over.
Frog3 is losing one. It's traded out immediately. The heavies on both teams are still going to be alive, but look at this. NTHX has 2. They're going to chase. Frog3 can't stay alive, and they're going to get wiped. NTHX has the steal, and Nitera, there's only enough time for one more team fight. Will Frog3 get the redemption?
I want to say yes, but I also feel like they're going to jump off and then walk around the entire place and then take a fight. And then we have a problem again.
Exactly. It's the same situation over and over again. I feel crazy because of how many times I've had to mention it, but let's see. Frog3, they have to go in. They have to take the team fight first. If they hesitate for even a moment, it's over right here. Let's go ahead and see how they started. That looks like hesitation, Nitera, and that is what happens when you hesitate. They lose a healer, and they lose their positioning. It's going to be one heavy only that can make it, but there's no time. That looks to be the end of the run for Frog3, but they will at least be able to go into the bottom bracket. We have no time left for this steal. NTHX has a beautiful 2-0 on their hands for map 2. And, well, if this is a lesson to any of our viewers, play on the point.
I mean, in any objective game, you always want to play onto the points, right? So take a page out of that. Obviously, there's a reason for it. NTHX looking extremely happy after that round here. You can definitely see the players, they're just going like, oh god, finally it's over. And I'm not even sure why they're struggling with that one, but hey, you know what? A game where they're struggling means that your opponents are doing somewhat perfect enough for you to struggle. So, I mean, Artie, you got to give it to them. Both teams definitely played their hearts out on this one.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we have to remember Frog3. They had the top frag on that last map. On map 1, they were able to take home the MVP. But when it comes into this map, I don't know how it ended up looking, especially given the utter dominance that was assumed by NTHX. Now, Frog3, it's important to note, they won both vault fights. So they're good at taking control over the vault, right? They won the very first vault fight, and they always were the first to get the vault into the cash out. It's just holding on to that cash out that Frog3 needs a little bit of work on. And they're not out of the running yet. They will go down into the lower bracket, and they might have a chance at redemption later today if they're able to get back into that winning streak and then maybe see NTHX again. But NTHX will qualify and are going to be going on to the next round.
Right. So with that being said, though, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for like our next few games to see set up and ready. The teams need to be prepared, and so we're gonna go into a very, very short break here. Artie, say it with me. It's break time. We're gonna pack up and we're gonna get ready for our popcorn.